P45 weekend. Managerial sackings has been mad. I don't like to make light of people losing their jobs, but when there's a multi-million-pound severance package that comes with it,
they're okay.
You're doing all right.
They'll survive.
Especially that Chelsea one.
Can I just say, I did say Potter wasn't the guy.
I see.
I'm sorry, but I did say.
I told you so, Isaac.
That's what we're doing.
I don't necessarily want us to be the guy that's doing the I told you.
Wait, can we just recall who said he wasn't
me?
Gonna get sacked. You said he wasn't gonna get sacked.
You said he wasn't. Yeah, that's it. Okay.
I was doing the whole. Actually, you know what? They bought Potter in because of the young players. Blah 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 blah. But Graham, mate, come on, man.
I don't even think he got sacked like that. I think it was mutual, bro.
You think so?
Yeah.
I
feel like he wanted out.
You feel like he packed it?
I never trust when they say
they
mutual.
didn't pay. They didn't. It was mutual, innit? So they didn't. Like if they had cancelled his thing, they would have had to pay him a madness.
Compensation.
They just come up with.
But why would he agree?
Mutual, innit?
Yeah,
no,
but
but
he said remember he said the pressure, mental health, his family's been getting death threats.
True,
he might not be ready for this level. He might not be cut out for it. Maybe, I don't know.
It's not worth it as well.
Innit? Might not.
No, what I mean is the mental side.
Yeah.
That side of it. Some people don't care, but some people.
Brighton's a different ballgame to Chelsea, boy.
And look, when you look at Graham, when you look at Potter's kind of track, I'm calling him Graham like he's in my WhatsApp. But when you look at Potter's track history, he's done fantastically well. But this level is very new to him, right? I know he's managed in the Prem, but even that, he didn't do that many clubs at Brighton level, right? So he's had a quick kind of rise. So maybe some of the stuff that did come with managing Chelsea was a little bit of a shock. It's been less than 7 months. When I saw that, I was surprised. I feel like he's been there a long time. The story, because there's a story every week, it feels like he's been a long time. But some cold stats, he's managed 31 games, 12 wins, 11 defeats, and 8 draws.
That's crazy.
I think for the talent that he's got there, it doesn't look good.
No, it doesn't.
At all. But then on the flip side, you got to say, I think I mentioned it last time or the time before, how many of those were his signings?
True.
They made a bunch of signings in the summer transfer window, sacked Tuchel a week after getting in play. So I think Aubameyang was Tuchel signing.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And then they got rid of him.
He was gone a week later.
Apparently there was a clash between Bowley and Tuchel. Fair enough. So it's a bit of a thankless task for him. Like,
I agree, but I still think he can have done better with what it is. And I agree, I think there's nuances to it. But when you make certain decisions, you know, you're not scoring goals. And whatever you think about Aubameyang, whatever people feel about him, his record says he scores goals in this Premier League. When you're struggling to score goals in the Premier League and in Champions League, and he doesn't even make your squad, doesn't even make your matchday squad some days, that has to result in, you know,
performances.
Yeah, exactly. And that's not happening. But Mark, I know you've got a view on the Potter Chelsea thing.
I personally don't think that because it's a new team, I think that's worked against him solely because not only are they a new team, they're also a very, very, very young team as well.
Yeah.
And any manager would have probably had issues gelling that team together. I don't think it's as straightforward as just coming in, you got all these millions, buy anyone you want. It doesn't gel that
you see
it doesn't
the
gel that quick.
Blah, blah, blah. Despite spending 200 and blah, blah, blah million in January.
I have to disagree. And I disagree on the fact that these are not. All right, let's not be too harsh and say that anyone can come in and manage them, but they're not crap players. These are
they have to gel though, man. They're young.
Still a lot of players though.
I know,
there's a lot of players that ain't
high
playing.
level players, and I'm pretty sure they are good enough to beat some of the teams that they've lost to or drawn with. They're good enough.
I don't think that's the problem.
To pull something out the back.
I think there's more to it. There's loads of players that come in, bro.
And they have to gel. It's not that.
There's loads of personalities that's come in. There's loads of players that ain't playing, that haven't played, that want to play, that want to move, that don't even want to be there.
But even when
there's still more players to come at the end of the season.
That's true.
But to that point, though, so if we look at, you know, even a lot of the lineups he's had, right? He's not necessarily even sprinkling the new players in. He's using a lot of the players that were already there. Thiago, you know, you've got Havertz was before him. Mason Mount is the darling of the club. Pulisic is,
not anymore.
So it's not like, well, he wants out. He wants a lot of money, apparently. So we're told.
Mason Mount. I think they're pushing him out. don't necessarily think it's a him problem.
The fans don't necessarily want
apparently
him.
the money he's asked for, he's not going to get. And I don't blame them. Anyway, we'll come on to Man in a second.
Yeah, I think...
but I don't think... Sorry, 1 second. I just don't think that... If he had ripped up the 11 and we're seeing all of these players starting, fine. But
I agree.
He's had... if you look at a lot of the lineups, he's had a good, 60-70% of that team are pre-spending spree. And the players he sprinkled in haven't been disastrous. João Felix probably be one of their better performing players.
Enzo's been quality.
But I think him not having a settled team has gone against him. And fair enough, he's got a lot of players to choose from. And it takes a while to kind of, you can't really give them like 10, 15 minutes there to kind of judge whether they're good enough to be in the team. But I think if you look at all the top managers, they kind of have a good core where if you told me to name Chelsea's better or what Potter would think his best 11 is, I don't think he would know what his best 11 was.
He started his tenure with 9 games unbeaten. He started with that streak, so something was going right.
But he was still bringing the changes even then. Like it wasn't a...
But he's trying to figure out the team he come into.
Yes.
He's trying to figure out that squad. And then they buy 50 players on top of it. Like, that's mad.
Yeah. It's like that video I showed
crazy.
you.
Looking like pure gym.
I couldn't believe it. And even when you look at, they do the behind the scenes at Premier League clubs and that, you might see there's a lot of players there, but you'll be like, those are youth players. You'll see the guy number 72 on his tracksuit or something. But these were all, I was counting, I'm like, him. I was thinking,
they had a 34-man, they've got a 34-man first-team squad, which is ridiculous.
Them rondos must be large, bro. But look, I think, I guess the point I'm making is, yes, circumstances weren't ideal. Then you have a manager who's stepping up to that level for the first time. So there's all of that comes with it. You're playing more games than ever. Weekend, midweek. At Brighton, he's probably used to having a team for the whole week to work through his what his plans are, etc. These are all the small things. And then the bit that you never know unless you spoke to him is how much is the pressure of being at Chelsea now? They paid a lot of money for him as a manager. The rumours are they paid 20 million to get him out of the Brighton contract.
That's mad.
So you play for a decent player.
And then paid him 12 million a year.
Right. So there's all of that stuff. Self-doubt, the imposter syndrome maybe. There's all of that. So
I don't blame Potter, man. I don't blame Potter in all of this.
No, you can't.
I don't blame him entirely, but I did look at some decisions.
There's some faults that he's made, obviously, but I don't blame him. I feel like he still deserves a job in the Prem.
Yeah,
a good job as well.
Yeah. Tottenham.
Yeah.
And he could go to Tottenham.
Okay, question. All right, so obviously I was quite critical in the sense that I don't feel like he had the experience or the know-how to step up to this job.
Yeah, but that's not critical of him, to be fair. I think that was a fair assessment.
But how do managers of his experience or upcoming get ready or get the experience or reach that level to manage big clubs or high-pressure situations like Chelsea?
It's time.
Well, it's time. They generally do steps, right? So if you said to me, I'll design his career, he would have left Brighton and gone to a Leicester or an Everton or a Tottenham.
Someone said Villa.
Yeah, or Villa.
Yeah.
He'd have probably done 2 jobs before he got the Chelsea job. in reality.
Okay, but then someone would say, look at what he's done with Brighton. He's taken them from potential relegation battlers to secure mid-table team.
Yes.
Obviously, De Zerbi's coming and taking them to the next level, but he's done something that a lot of managers tend to struggle to do with a very limited squad.
Yep.
So then you could argue that he's shown capabilities.
No, listen, I don't think Chelsea were wrong to look at him, and I think the approach they took was probably the right one, right? British club.
Long time.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
up and coming manager. If we don't get him now, someone else might get him, etc. But I think the next step for him was go and manage a club that has aspirations to be a regular Europa League, and then if you have a fantastic season, knock on the door for Champions League. A bit like how Moyes Everton was, right?
So like Eddie Howe, what Eddie's
exactly.
Right.
But I think it's easy to say that now based on how Chelsea have.
To be fair, a few people said at the time.
No, at the beginning of his tenure, we wouldn't be talking like this. We wouldn't be talking about.
I slightly disagree, just because when he got the job, everyone's first reaction was, "I hope he does well." It wasn't, "He's going to do well."
Yeah,
and I think everyone was saying, "I hope he does well," based on the fact that it might have just been a reach too far for him. Just like John said, one job too soon.
I think that's based on how Chelsea sack managers. I don't think that's based on.
I think it was just based on him doing well at Brighton, to get looked at for big jobs, but that Chelsea job comes with a lot of expectations, etc.
I thought he was going to do well at first, yeah? I was a bit skeptical of his attack. I think we talked about this before. The attacking at Brighton, I was not on the Graham Potter bandwagon. I'm not going to lie. I thought it was blunt. But I thought, you know what? You've got the tools now. You're going to do well. When he started playing Raheem Sterling at wing back, I said, no.
It was working for a while.
This stubbornness might come back to shoot you in the foot because he was so far away from goal getting the ball sometimes. I was watching it thinking,
yeah, it's crazy.
You got us, and then to be fair to him, that changed later, right? Raheem Sterling started to play in the front three, etc. But look, and then you got some significant defeats. He lost 4-1 to Brighton. He got slapped by Man City 4-0 in the FA Cup. Again, it's football. But when I've brought you to Chelsea, you got the talent that's there. Forget what the players I've bought. The talent you came to meet there. Those results are going to be hard to swallow. So
I agree.
So yeah. Well, look. Thinking about the managerial merry-go-round as it is, Brendan Rodgers has left Leicester by mutual consent. Depending what article you read, he got sacked.
I think they're all sackings. I don't think they're mutual consent, man. I don't think maybe the Potter one. You might be right, but I don't think the manager goes to the owner and says, "You know what?
Conte was a sacking.
I don't think
that weren't mutual.
That weren't mutual.
He would just stay in that chair and cuss them until you sack me and pay me. You're gonna pay me for me to be here.
Apparently, that's the difference, isn't it? Mutual consent is, Mark, I don't think this is working out, and you're like, you know what?
Yeah,
I agree.
Exactly.
So let's come to an agreement. When it's a sacking, it's like, I don't think it's working out. Nah, man. I want more time. I reckon if I get to the end of the season, I could do X, Y, Z. And they're like, no, you're done today, innit?
Yeah, but like in like the corporate world, for example, if there's someone not doing their job, you get called in with HR.
Yeah.
It's a sacking.
Yeah.
But they're gonna say, listen, don't worry, your next job, you can come to us for
it depends,
a reference.
It depends.
We're not gonna put it down on your record as a sacking. That's a sacking, bro.
No, but I've seen
they put it down as mutual consent
in corporate world. It's the thing of, look, this isn't working out for us. It's clearly not working out for you. Here's some P's. You can't work for 3 months and you can't say anything about it. That's a mutual agreement. You're like, all right, cool. If you want to fight it, then I've got to decide if I've got to fire you and you might sue me later.
But it stems from a sacking. It stems from the higher up saying, we're going to get rid of you. Let's come to an agreement.
Sometimes it's this isn't working out. What do you think? And then it's for you to now prove how you're going to fix it. Do you understand what I'm saying? And that's where I think Potter might have said, you know what, you man.
The Potter one,
this is mad.
But the Potter one is, I swear they got in someone from Brighton.
Yeah,
that he knows.
Bruno Solo.
Higher up guy, innit?
You talking about that?
Director of football?
Yeah.
Yes, he came as well.
So they're saying he knows him properly, innit, from Brighton. So what I've seen is that he had a good chat with him and said, you know what?
Yeah, you know how this goes.
Let me cool, man.
No, this goes.
Yeah.
So based on that, that's a second, right?
Winking the gun.
That's not That's not Graham.
We know what it is.
I honestly feel like Graham Potter was cool.
Agreed.
He might have been cool of it. He might be like, yeah, you know, thanks for saving me.
And I slightly feel like that was the case for Brendan though. Because Leicester were on a free fall. They haven't shown any signs of progression in quite a while.
I thought he went to the bosses a long time ago.
It's mad though because pre-World Cup, they were on a decent run. They hadn't conceded in 4 or 5 games. They were like going the right way up the table. World Cup came, and then since then, I think they're bottom of the form table since the World Cup.
This is the problem with the Premiership.
And that's like the stat you guys pulled up on Patrick Vieira. What was it? He hadn't
won a game this calendar year.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, it's free fall. And it just seems like every manager that's been in that free fall since the World Cup, their time's pretty much coming to an end. So
I think the nuance is some of the circumstances. So again, Brendan Rodgers got a lot of rope because they didn't give him any players to sign. I think between the 2 windows, he signed 2 players permanently, 3 players permanently, and got a player on loan.
Yeah, and he was vocal about that.
Yeah,
that's why I thought he was going to go. Because he was vocal about that.
Yeah. And then when you're selling players like Fofana for 70 million, but
the guy wanted to go though, man. You can't. I'm not keeping Fofana. He clearly wants to go.
No, but what I'm saying is, if I'm Rodgers, I can't reinvest that money now. And he was a good player for them.
That's the owner's fault.
So, but they made a massive loss, and it comes back again to the business. I think that the loss they made last year was 96 million. It was a significant loss. The COVID runoff. So they're trying to manage the club in a way, and they thought Rodgers being there meant they could probably get through it, get to a point of stability, and then he could do more with it. But that loss left them in a relegation zone.
Losing to Palace was always going to be the final straw, simply because they got rid of Patrick Vieira. They've come in with a new manager and beaten you, and they haven't won any games until now. So it's like, bye-bye.
Football's a cruel game, you know, because one of the goals that helped you came off the crossbar and hit
your keeper.
That's
in the back.
mad.
I'm not going to lie.
Score.
When they let Schmeichel go and replaced him with Danny Ward,
that was the end.
I'm surprised Rodgers lasted.
Listen.
No, but that's another thing. If I'm Rodgers, I've lost cash for Schmeichel. Can I have some money to get a different keeper? And they say no. Well, he might have been him walking out.
But again,
you can't replace it with these players.
Rodgers, is he like, oh, thank you?
He is. I think he leaves with his head held high.
I don't know, Rodgers got a bit of an ego, you know.
No, he leaves with his head held high. I think. I think
he's all right. Yeah, he's all right.
Yeah, I'm saying I don't think he took it on the chin. I think he'd like, I can turn this around.
Yeah.
Nah,
he was complaining as well.
I think he's been there long enough. Like you said, he was vocal about the lack of signings. I feel like this is perfect timing with the merry-go-round of managers leaving. He's probably thinking, I can get one of those jobs.
So, okay, so...
you got a point, you know?
Yeah, and that's the thing, because we've seen the Rodgers career, and he's one of the people that we can probably opine a little bit more on how he talks because he's so open, you know, when his players, what he's doing. I'll be honest, he probably doesn't feel like he should even be at a club like Leicester.
Yeah.
After what he did with Liverpool, you know, he's had to kind of go around, you know, come in second in the league, bro. He probably feels like, I'm going to do my thing with Leicester, and then one of these other jobs comes back, I should be where I should be.
Apparently went to the Arsenal one.
I was going to say, there was talk about him coming to Arsenal. I'd be very surprised if he is not in the running, pretty serious running for the Spurs job.
Yep.
He's not getting a Chelsea job. But I would be surprised if he's not, you know, if he's not putting his hand in hard for the Spurs job.
I think he'd do pretty well at Spurs.
Yeah.
I don't want him to do well, obviously, but I think he'd do a decent enough job.
I think Brendan Rodgers has shown that he's got the capability to get people to where they want to get to. I think the question about him was he was a manager that sort of bottled it, right? You know, when it was time, a bit like what we said about Southgate, when it was a crucial moments, when it's a crucial games, his game management, he kind of bottled it.
They should have had top 4 in one of those.
Yeah.
At least one of those 2 seasons, they finished 5th.
Yeah. But then he would argue that ghost has gone with the FA Cup, right? And if you're in Leicester's history, there's Claudio Ranieri, manager-wise, and now Brendan, because within this period of time, they've won the league and now they've won the FA Cup. Yeah. And a 45% win percentage is nothing to be sniffed at. Yeah, 2 5th place finishes is not a joke. So, I agree with you. I think he's thinking, you know what? Before this job, so you didn't give me the tools I needed, so I'm working with what I've got. I lost one of my best defenders. Before this job drags me further away from the jobs I actually want, you know what? Let's part ways now. It's all good. And selfishly, and sorry, Brendan, that's not what you're thinking, the relegation is not on his CV.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
If a man comes in next week and he still gets relegated, it's on his CV, not Brendan's.
Yeah.
You know, and Brendan's probably hoping he's trying to convince Harry to...
How many points are they? How many points have they got? How close are they to the relegation though?
It's still tight.
It's tight.
I don't think the spread is that big.
Where are they? Because I think between
the second bottom,
20th and 13th, second from bottom.
Yeah.
Swear.
That defeat made them.
And it's still tight down there. I mean, this is the big issue, and this is probably one of the reasons why Vieira had to go, right? Because as has been talked about much, there's no mid-table. So you've got Chelsea in 11th with played 28 games on 38 points. In 12th, there's Palace, played 29 games, and they've got 30 points. So basically, from 11th downwards, you lot are fighting your own fight.
It's a different league altogether.
Yeah. So between Crystal Palace and the bottom team is 7 points. But between Crystal Palace and the team, 18th is 4 points. It's tight. And those teams have got a game in hand. West Ham have got 2 games in hand on Palace, and they're 3 points behind.
That's mad.
So, but they all played each other. It's that part of the season where they're all playing each other. So, the second from bottom, point behind Everton, is such a scrap. I don't even know why you'd get rid of him now. I agree with T. I think he's gone to them and said, look, this isn't working for me. Because who are you going to bring in that's better than Brendan Rodgers, really? Who's actually better than him? Unless you go old school and get Sam Allardyce off his chair, right? Or one of the other, the escape artists, you can't tell me they're going to get a higher caliber manager than Brendan Rodgers to come and do something in this last 10 games for them. I can't see it. So I wouldn't be surprised if he drove that exit.
I think it was to what Isaac said. He's seen the opportunities elsewhere. Yeah. And like you said, I think I can get one of those, particularly the Spurs job. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's like, you know what, let me try and get a role there. Yeah. It's easier for me to get a job.
I'm going to go against the grain and say I don't see him doing well at Spurs.
No.
I don't think so.
I can see it.
Does well at Spurs.
I don't think so either.
Not with that especially with the fans there. Like, I don't think
that's because of Spurs, though. I think you can look at any manager going into Spurs and think.
I think he'll play decent football.
Yeah.
He'll try and play decent football.
Right, this is not a shot, yeah? This is not a shot. Right?
That's a shot.
This is a disclaimer.
Yeah, go ahead.
You know when you say no disrespect, they disrespect someone. But the Brendan Rodgers team that he did well with, that he got to second, yeah? Is it that much different to this team? Wait, let me finish.
Which team?
With this Tottenham team now, right? Just with the fact of wait.
I thought you were talking about the Liverpool team, the Spurs team.
No. So the Liverpool team,
that is mad disrespectful.
wait, man, can I finish?
Not even the Liverpool
wait,
team.
let me finish. You know why I say that? Because he had a couple of aliens. He had Steven Gerrard, the Suarez. He's gonna go to Tottenham. He's got Harry Kane. He's got Son. Actually, as a team and the component parts. Is it that different a challenge to what he did with that team overachieved slightly?
The components are not that different.
Yeah.
But that season we finished second.
Yep.
We had no European football. He sacrificed the cups. So he just put everything into the league. And he won't have that luxury at Tottenham. Because Tottenham will probably finish in a European place. He'll have to navigate Europe as well as the league.
But he could do that prioritization you talked about. If he goes to Tottenham and wins the Carabao, Carabao Cup,
could he do a FA Cup or a Carabao Cup at Tottenham?
I think he could.
I think he could.
You don't think he could?
I think he could easily.
You got to remember, at Liverpool, we had Sturridge, Suarez,
different
Sterling,
Coutinho,
Gerrard.
Right.
When you were saying they got the same kind of player, I was about to, because they ain't.
Yeah.
I was getting through it
Because what
They
you
got
got to
Kane.
understand.
They got Kane.
No,
That's it.
If you get Son firing again, come on.
It's
Get
true.
Son firing again.
It's true. Kulusevski, Richarlison is not the worst player in the world.
Don't see it,
I just think
So yeah, you're right. It's not the same, but you can see where I was going, right? He could go down and Carabao Cup. He could go down with the FA Cup.
You could.
But okay, so let's say he goes there and wins FA Cup or Carabao Cup and finishes 8th.
Yep.
I know they get the monkey off the back of winning a trophy.
Yep.
But finishing 8th for Tottenham is really not good enough, is
It'll
it?
be good for him. It's all right
Not
for him.
really.
He wins a cup at Tottenham, that's all right.
No, winning the cup, you like I say, you get that monkey off your back, but you can't be
It's a
8th.
trade-off.
But who's to say he's going to
And
finish
winning
8th though? If he's winning the cup, I think he's having a decent season. So he'll probably finish
Bro,
it.
you
not necessarily.
You see the league. What's
Wigan won the FA Cup and got relegated.
Yeah, that's Wigan, bro.
They didn't have Harry Kane in their team doing golden boot every bloody
Bro, I'm
season
saying,
apart from this season.
yeah.
It don't matter where they finish in the league because they ain't finishing top. So they might as well take a cup.
I'm not going to lie. I think Spurs fans would take a cup.
Yeah.
Just,
You think they
even
take
if
a
it's
cup
just
in
one
8th?
season,
Bro.
yeah, I think they'll take that.
To give
I don't know,
Spurs,
you know.
okay, let's be more realistic.
No European ball the next season, a cup, and we can now focus on the league.
Bro.
Facts.
I was even gonna say, let's not be alarmist. Europa League, you qualify for Europa League, and they win FA Cup. Bro, they will be carrying.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
different.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's
They'll be
different.
carrying
Yeah.
it down Tottenham High Road, bro.
Facts.
Yo, crazy.
Facts.
They might even put a statue of him
Facts. Facts.
next to Glenn Huddle.
Yeah,
So let's see how it shakes out. If I'm Tottenham, maybe they should be a little bit more ambitious than that. But
I agree.
And more ambitious than Brendan Rodgers.
yes,
Who? If Nagelsmann don't get the Chelsea job, then maybe him.
Nagelsmann is not going to.
I agree. He is
But
not
then
going
that's what I'm
to-
saying. But who then? Who? I can't see them.
you can always go and poach another manager. You don't have to wait for the people that are in the
Luis
job.
Enrique and
Yeah.
Nagelsmann are the two
But
top
Luis Enrique
guys,
already
right?
said, "I'm not coming Prem."
That-
Is it?
Oh, is it?
I swear.
I was thinking he might look at Chelsea because they can afford him.
Yeah, he would think he's a Chelsea manager. I think
Potter,
for Spurs.
Yeah.
But
Brendan
but-
Rodgers.
But we said Potter more suits Leicester than Spurs. Like again,
Yeah.
if we're saying Chelsea is a bit too far of a reach for Potter, Spurs are not that far
Far
off.
off,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I'd say he needs to go in at
but
a.
it's more of a
Fit.
like he can just sort that squad out.
Yeah.
But
And also-
again,
Then having the madness
it's the
going
whole
on.
kind
Keith,
of.
before you do that, let me throw something your way. And Potter is not going to be banging on your door saying, spend this amount, spend that amount.
No, that's great. So that's kind of Levy kind of guy. But again, you'll still have big players that you've got to manage.
True.
And like the reports that are coming out, I know it's not funny, but like some of the French players were calling Graham Potter Hogwarts
No. My days.
because of like the whole Harry Potter thing. And
that's just football banter, isn't it?
no, but they were like they didn't really have the respect for him in it. So
yeah. You can
I
see
think
that
you
happening.
go in at a Leicester level, get your career back on track, and then try and work your way up again. Like
It is
can
mad
happen.
though. We've got 3 open jobs in the Prem. There's been 13 managerial changes this season already. Like that's
That's
crazy. And I was saying to Mark before, I said, I can't remember a time where, between sort of 8 to 10 games, depending on where you are, about games you've played, so many people have pulled the trigger. Normally it's at Christmas because of that famous stat, right? If you're bottom at Christmas or you're near bottom at Christmas, statistically you're not going to get out. But I think where the table is and the fact that everyone's got a chance, 2 wins, especially 2 wins against those around you, can just entirely change the season. Those could be 100 and 150 million pounds, 6 points, 6 to 9 points. So that's why people, I think, feel that they could change now. But it's a remarkable situation to be in now, because no one is too safe. No one is too good and no one's too safe.
What about Company and Carrick?
Too early.
I think it's too early. He needs to come up with Burnley and just stay with Burnley for a season.
And I don't think Company takes that job. I think if you ring him, well, to a limit, everyone likes her.
All right, wait. So I got another question.
Yeah.
So it's kind of meshes with Potter as well. If you get the phone call, do you go?
If you're Vincent Kompany, depending on who it is,
does anyone ever stay and think, you know what, I'm doing well, I'm learning, and I'm here?
It's techie. You got real belief in your career trajectory. Yeah, you're right. You're right. If I'm Vincent Kompany, I'm not going.
Yeah.
But who's ever said,
he says sitting in the chair in East London? But yeah.
That's a good question. I was sitting there thinking, that's a good question. I actually can't think of anyone that's...
I'll take that away.
That's got the big call and said, early on, you know what, I'm still learning. I'm gonna do what I'm doing here. Because if Potter stayed at Brighton, he'd be calm. Like, he's cool. He probably would have walked straight into that Tottenham job.
Yeah. Now,
and it would have been a better time. It would have been better timing. It would have been better,
better project.
Better project.
Yeah.
But 12 million a year.
That's the other thing. Money, innit?
Let me not discredit him, yeah? It's not just the money, but as a coach, especially where he started, right? He started university football. Like, this is what all of that work's been.
Yeah. When did he manage against Arsenal? Like,
in the Europa League.
2013 or something like that?
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago, right? And now Chelsea are calling me to come and manage that team. I'm going.
Yeah. But what I didn't like about Potter, he kind of changed his whole style. Like, he was turning up in like turtlenecks.
Come on, bro.
Coming out like the milk train.
Went to A-Star Barbers.
Listen,
the Americans got hold of him, mate.
When in Rome. Yeah?
See, I disagree because I think he kind of went against a philosophy. Like, I had never seen Potter in a suit before. He's been managing for like 10 odd years.
What's that got to do with the TV picks and the training ground and all that? We had this conversation about Sean Dyche, remember?
No, I understand that, but if you kind of see someone swaying so far from what you know,
it shows
you're
mental,
like,
innit?
what's this guy doing?
I wouldn't be surprised if when he got to Chelsea, they said, "Look, you're at Chelsea now. You have to look a certain way.
Or play the part.
You have to, I won't be surprised, bro.
I don't think they can talk like that to people like Conte and that. I don't think they're chatting to people like Conte.
But Graham Potter's not Conte. You're on the come up.
Yeah, but Lampard's walking up and down that sideline in tracksuits and
G-Leagues trying to respect Lampard. He was wearing suits. Lampard was wearing suits. He wasn't always wearing
I didn't see him with a suit on the
side. He's wearing like a little nice coat.
I think I saw him with a suit once.
Because of the coat. What suit did he have on?
He was wearing a suit still. I can show you still. I'll put it up.
I don't think... I bet the players had to tell him what stadium to go to. Like, come on.
Nah, bruv. There's a liaison officer for them team there. Look. At the end of the day, fair enough. But look, no one was saying anything. Bruv, Brendan Rodgers did the same thing. But he did it on the slide. But I remember he come in with Firmino's teeth and he glowed up differently. Do you not remember? Nah, it's the same. I don't blame him for that. At the end of the day, he probably felt he stepped up another level. It's the same. Like, even at work, when you go for work for certain businesses, you think, you know what? I need a new suit.
I gotta come correct.
Yeah.
I think like you kind of lose a bit of your essence, innit? Like,
by changing what you're wearing.
Bruv, it's comfortability.
Mental.
Nah, man. But he's not wearing He's not wearing the suits in training.
Exactly.
He's still wearing tracksuits in training. Am I wrong though? He's only wearing suits now to match this. He's not wearing it in training.
Right, I don't believe in any of that rubbish, bro. As long as on the training ground, them are respecting what you're saying and they're applying it. It don't matter.
I don't think they was listening.
I don't.
To him. I think the whole of Chelsea is in tatters, bro.
Yeah.
Remember what I said? He's laid back.
Personally.
Bro, I think that doesn't help, bro. Being too laid back with big egos in your squad, I can't do it. Don't work.
To your point though, remember Abramovich was known as a really ruthless owner.
Mm-hmm.
But I saw a stat the other day. He didn't sack 2 managers in one season. Even he didn't do that.
And Bowley said we're not going to be a sacking club. Like, when they took over,
but I think he left him no choice.
I know, but like, he came out and said that's not what we're going to be, and he sacked.
Yeah. They gave him lots of chances, bro.
However, he was in no chance of getting relegated. He's 8 points ahead of the next team.
No, I don't even think it was relegation was in their minds, bro. I honestly believe, this Todd Bowley guy is mad. and he's just doing whatever he wants to do. He thought, do you know what? Because I heard them talking about Arsenal and the Arsenal project. He thought, Graham Potter, he's done it at Brighton. He's an even better version than Arteta because he's even done it.
Started, it was just a second.
So I'm gonna bring him in. We're gonna revamp the whole team, young players, and then try and just give him the time. But it don't work like that, bro.
But the thing is, they built a platform for the next manager. You should have just stuck with it. You've got decent young players, right? You give him a full pre-season because he's not getting relegated. Cool. You're not getting Champions League. That's done. So see how he gets on. And then even if you get to October, because you'd have had a good amount of games and you fire him, he can say there's no complaints there. You're giving him a full pre-season. You've got the people at the door that you want to get out the door. Fine. I don't understand sacking him now. I'll be honest. There's no danger to the plans of the club. It can't get much worse. Even if you bring someone in now, they can't achieve something Graham Potter wasn't going to achieve. The only thing is the Champions League.
We had this conversation outside. So when it comes to the relegation teams, they're frightened of getting relegated.
Yes.
Chelsea, like we said earlier, they're probably looking at their people, the managers that are available right now.
Yeah.
So it's like, let's snap him.
Strike
it might even be Nagelsmann because I don't know who else is available, but they're probably just trying to think, let's snap up Nagelsmann.
Do you think Nagelsmann does well though? Like,
I think he's another Potter, to be honest. I think he's a German Potter. He's German, right?
Yeah.
With
a couple people saying, this is the first time Nagelsmann's been put under pressure in terms of a coaching job, and he hasn't excelled in terms of he hasn't kind of taken Bayern Munich to their dizzy heights that they're normally around. So when he's been kind of challenged with Dortmund and Union Berlin, it's a bit under pressure. So like he comes to the Premiership where you've got 4, 5, 6 teams fighting for the top 4, pressure every week.
Yeah. It's a risk.
Okay, but the pressure on the Bayern Munich hot seat is a bit different. It's the same kind of pressure that is on the PSG hot seat in terms of if it's not League and Champions League, you're out the door.
Yeah.
Whereas at Chelsea, you kind of have a little bit less pressure. Okay, they just want top 4 as the bare minimum and a trophy.
You think
also
like top 4's bare minimum for Chelsea?
Right now,
like
right now. Right now, it's the bare minimum.
So when you say right now, he comes in this season?
No, I'm Chelsea don't get the players they need to get out.
As a manager, I think that for Potter, the bare minimum was the objective.
Next season will be bare minimum.
I don't think that would be for Nagelsmann. I think if Nagelsmann comes in this season, they finish maybe like 7th.
Yeah, fair enough.
And then next season, I don't think Bowley says, I'm happy with top 4.
No, I don't think happy, but you don't lose your job.
Yeah. But at the very minimum, you should even be thinking about is top 4. I don't want to hear in the boardroom, if we don't finish top 4, well, at least we'll get Europa. I don't want to hear that.
If Nagelsmann comes in, they probably...
I want to hear we're on track for the title, but if, with Liverpool, we were on track for the title. Yeah. But if all else fails, we just ran into one of those seasons where City were just that step better. I think for Chelsea, it's the same kind of thing. Yeah.
I'm still jury's out for Nagelsmann.
No, but I think that's right. People talk about Nagelsmann like he's already 30. To be honest, I look at him kind of like Mikel Arteta, but a few seasons on, right? He's 35. Yeah, he was amazing for a young manager. Got a big job early. But even Bayern, that's not the first manager to go there and have a madness with the hierarchy there, right? It's a bit like the whole Dutch situation. It's all ex-Bayern players, ex-German legends. They're way on the highway kind of vibe. If you listen to a lot of the German football journalists, they say that regularly. So I just think that what you have Nagelsmann is he's someone that's very steadfast in his beliefs. I mean, he's a 2-show apprentice, so that doesn't surprise. They're very clear about how they want things to work and how it should go. So I don't think it's too much of a stain that it didn't work out there. It's not like the guy was second. They were doing their thing. They're in the latter stages of the Champions League. Actually, it's all going to plan. They're not obliterating the league, but it wasn't in that much danger. They could have still won it.
I think Pep Guardiola spoiled them.
In what sense?
Yes.
By clearing up the league every season by February.
Yeah,
almost every season.
But they were winning it before.
They were winning it.
No, but they
just
weren't
not
winning it.
They weren't winning it 4 months in advance.
They weren't winning it like that.
Yeah, they weren't moving like
I think Pep, the way Pep dismantled that league and kind of held them. Obviously, Pep's gripe with Pep from Bayern was that he didn't win the Champions League.
Yeah.
But so obviously they had, right, well, you know, you got to go. But I think they're spoiled in the sense of they're used to that now, or they think that should be how it is.
Yeah.
We have the talent, we have the resources, we should be clearing that league out. It's been done.
Really
it's been
should
proven.
be though. They should
be.
Yeah, they should be.
So I think that's why if as a manager you're not doing that, which is what we've seen with Nagelsmann, there's a door, mate.
But I think anyone who employs Nagelsmann should do it in the right guise. As in, this is a young manager. We're gonna grow with him,
give him time.
Rather than almost like he's a 30 top elite manager. He's not that. He's not that yet. You know, he's on his way there, and he got in the game early, but he's not that yet. And I think if you look at how he's talked about in football media, he's kind of talked about like he's a 30 elite manager, and he's not. You know, he did very well for a young guy. I mean, managing Bayern Munich at that age is ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's just a joke. So if I'm Chelsea, I don't even think Nagelsmann who you go for. I think they should be trying to talk to Luis Enrique. You know, you've won the Champions League, you've done well with Spain. Come and kind of prove your methodologies in this league. You know, all that kind of stuff. But we'll see. Because
would you bring in someone now? Would you bring in someone now? Well, you have to kind of in the Champions League. But would you bring in someone now? Just wait until.
No, I would just wait. Like I said, they're not in danger of relegation. The only problem, like you say, Champions League. I mean, do you want the gentleman Bruno Salto? He's taken over to the end of the season. Do you want him, you know, going head to head with Carlo Ancelotti over two legs? You don't really. You want someone in that could maybe pull something out of the bag.
Why not?
Why not?
They've done it before, and they won the Champions League. Did Matteo come in for 6 months?
But bro, that ownership, that's different ownership. Somebody's not going to look at it like that. Yeah. So otherwise, if it weren't for that, might as well just let him run out to the end of the season. Work hard to get the right person, then get them in.
I'm just thinking about the timing of a manager coming in.
Yeah, I agree.
With all that, it's too chaotic.
How many games left? What, 10?
Yeah, 10 or 9, depending.
9,
for Chelsea, Chelsea's 10 games.
If they don't want to lose him, now will be the time.
Yeah. It's interesting. The managerial merry-go-round.